You know, it's funny how the left seems to love safe spaces, except for when it's for conservatives. Um, I've been saying this for a long time, but it's not safe to be a conservative. It is not safe to not be a liberal, especially when you're a young person, especially when you're a woman, especially when everyone expects you to be a liberal. And it's one of those things that if you tell someone you're a conservative, they immediately start to have all these assumptions about you. They immediately think you're a white supremacist. They immediately think that you have all these opinions that you just don't have. And it's just this kind of thing where a lot of conservatives are feeling like threatened, like they shouldn't have their opinions. And it's this weird feeling because free speech is important. And there are people out there who are actively trying to get rid of that, which is so mind-boggling to me because, you know, free speech is just one of the most essential rights of a democratic country. And, you know, to think that there's people out there who simply just don't value that or think free speech is bad because it gives people that I don't like the ability to speak is so ridiculous. And it's funny because, you know, all the conservatives that I've talked to or I've met, if you disagree with them, they'll allow you to speak. They might not agree with what you're saying, but they'll at least hear you out. And, you know, with the people on the left, it's this idea that if you don't agree with them, you're just wrong, and I'm not even going to entertain. These people are using free speech to say that they don't want free speech, which is hypocrisy at its finest. I never considered myself to be very political. And for the longest time, I never thought that I would be a very political person. But over these past 2 years, I just feel like, you know, things have become so crazy that I have to. And I used to be a liberal. I used to be very liberal, in fact. And it was because I was so liberal that it made me be a conservative, if I'm being completely honest with myself here. And I just kind of, you know, saw what was going on and I just did not like it. It made me question a lot of the beliefs that I formerly had. And it's weird because what I find is that in place of ideas or policies, it's you must be with us because the other party is doing this or the other party is doing this. Instead of, you know, logic or reasoning, it's this idea that, you know, we are a minority or we are, I mean, you're basically playing into these fears. I hear a lot of people say that conservatism and conservatives and the right employs fear tactics. But that's like all I see in the left is that if you don't agree with us, this is what they'll do. And, you know, I feel, you know, they say all the time, you know, we have so many women, we have so many black voters, you know, LGBT. But the reason they do is because of these scare tactics. And ironically, is if you're in one of these minorities or whatever, being a woman is a minority, but you get the idea, you know, if you are discriminated against in any way and you don't agree with the liberals, it's like this idea that your opinion is invalid, which is weird because they want to argue that, you know, minority opinions are valid, but it's really only if you agree with them. And it's just so hypocritical.